All right, now we're back. Thank you for catching the mic problem. So what I was saying is, while we're still thinking about what properties and algorithms we can do next for making our map look a little bit more town-like, what I want to do real quick is convert this main into a program that is just going to cycle through multiple random maps. So maybe we can kind of visually inspect and help crowdsource some fuzz testing visually. All right, so I'm going to change main to be a program never because there's no flags being passed into it. And main is going to be HTML app.program. And I'm going to let the compiler help me out with what we need. So we're going to need init, which is going to be our initial model. There's going to be no model. I'm just going to use an empty record as our model. And we're actually going to use a random generation. Oh, yeah, actually, our model needs to be the map. But we aren't going to start out with one because we need to use randomness to generate it. Or, interestingly, we could actually just always start with the map with seed 0. Why don't we start with that? Type alias model is going to be a map.map. And in our init, our initial model is going to be a map with seed 0. Then our subscriptions are going to be done. And our update is going to take a message, a model, and do nothing for the moment. Our view is going to be taking our map, which is the same thing as our model, and rendering it with our tile set. Yeah, why don't we actually make our model be a record? That feels nicer in general. So we're going to render our model.map using our favorite tile set. Or my favorite tile set, at least. Cool. Looks like we've got a couple map generation suggestions in the chat. We'll get to that in just a moment. Now, what is wrong here? There we go. What is wrong here? I forgot the equals. Argument to program is causing a mismatch. That's because update also needs to return a commit in our advanced program. Okay. So it looks like that builds. Yep. Okay, so that's successfully built. Now, here's what we'd like to do. We want to just fire off new random generation every so often. So to do that, we're going to use our generate command. So we're going to have, okay, so let's generate. We're going to produce a message, so we'll need a message type. And we're going to get a map. When we get a new map, we will stick that in. I'm just going to write my update function inline here. Case message of, we get a new map, and we're going to take our model, change the map to new map. Let's see, what else is getting some kind of nasty error message. Could not find map when solving type constraints. I have no idea what that means. The first thing I try when there's a weird error is delete the elmstuff/build artifacts folder. Try building again. Nope. Okay. Some weird error. Maybe because we're overloading the word map in different places. Okay, that worked. So there was something weird about destructuring a parameter called map when we already have another thing called map scope. Okay. Then, when we start, we want to kick off a randomness generation. Random.generate. Our message that we're going to produce is going to take a map and give a message. So we're going to use the new map tag. Then we're going to pass it our generator. That's going to be the town generator, or map.town.random, as we've come to know and love it by. Oh, okay, that compiles. Oh, great. Then every time I reload, we're getting a random new map. Oh, there's one that's be failing our test. It'd be great if we could get the seed of that as well. Yeah, maybe we actually want to have it generate the seed, but I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. The other thing I want to do is have it now generate a new one every so often. So there's going to be a function called sleep core package. That'll give us a task. And is there a way to transform a command to a task, or a task into a command? I guess not. Or, excuse me, you can turn a task into a command. That's in another module called I think it's called perform. Yeah, okay, task.perform. So here we can execute our command. Excuse me. We can use this to turn the sleep task into a command. So it looks like we'll need a new message type. So that's a little unfortunate. We need two message types. We can't just chain the random generation on against the sleep task. Let's call this the generate another. So whenever we get a new map, let's generate another. So that's process.sleep. What does that take? Let's say like 500 milliseconds. Let's see. What's the argument order for? That just gives never gives anything there, and it gives a unit. Okay. Then we're going to say task.perform. This takes two functions, one to transform the error value of the task into a message, and another to transform the success value into a message. We don't care about either of those. We're just always going to generate another in both the error and the success case. The sleep should never error out, and when it succeeds, all it gives is a unit value. Then, I thought there was a function called millisecond. There it is, millisecond, not millisecond. Process.sleep, we need to import process. Eesh, this is a lot of back and forth. Import Oh, can we just say time.millisecond? Yeah, try that. Time.millisecond. So we have to import time. Okay, fine. Then we need to import task. Great. All right, now we're giving, oh, I did this backwards. Time.millisecond 500, meaning 500 milliseconds. Is not a function. Oh, right, okay, it's just a constant. So we say 500 times millisecond. All right. Then we need to handle the generate another message. Great. So in that case, all we're going to do is return the model and kick off another generate command. Hey, perfect. I think that's a little bit fast. Let's make this maybe 800 milliseconds. Cool. So there is our random map generator. Yeah, you can see every so often it generates one that's has the grass off the screen, so I'm curious why our tests aren't failing for that or catching those. But let me commit this. So we basically wrote a new main, which is now a program that does a new random generation every 800 milliseconds. All right, so let me read through the chat here and see what y'all were suggesting. Let's see. So Greg's suggesting to add a density factor that weights the probability of road tiles versus grass. Okay, that actually might be a good first step. And yes, road should always be attached to another road. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting rule to try to model. Because we'll have roads, we'll want to, like, not every road will need to be connected to, well, maybe that's not true. I guess a rule could be that we never want to have a single tile of road that's not connected to any other road. That seems like a reasonable rule. Probably be tough to implement the algorithm to make that pass. Okay, so I like both of those. Let's take a note here. README. Have a README yet? Okay, so just gonna copy these out. And roads, always other roads. Let's see, maybe a rule that all grass must be bordered by at least one road. Meaning, are you talking about patches of grass or every individual grass tile? If we did it with every tile, then we'd end up with like a maze of roads. But maybe that's another thing that we could have a weighting of. And let's see. Okay, then people are talking about the fancy Elm search. Yeah, let me pop this up real quick so people can see it. Yeah, so you can search on here once it loads for different type signatures. So let's see. We have found int speed. Yeah, great. Would have found it for us. Cool. And actually, that's a really cool project to look at the source code of. I believe the source code for the whole site is up on GitHub, because you can look and see what it does to like cache the package information in local storage in your web browser, so it doesn't need to download the entire package database every time you visit the site. It's really cool. And yeah, Someone, Rolograph is suggesting the Firacode font, which I'm not a big fan of myself, but a bunch of my coworkers use it. Basically has fancy ligatures for a bunch of symbols that you use in programming. Like you do dash greater than was like an arrow. Oh, I guess my webcam is mirroring mirroring my video. Yeah, here if you type like equals equals, it'll there is a long equals. So yeah, kind of a fun little thing. I don't use it myself, but I know a bunch of people who love it. All right. So let's start out with this density idea. Let's just implement that. I can't think of a particularly good rule for that, other than maybe saying we should probably have some kind of let's see, what am I trying to say? We should have some rule that says rather than just having one tile of grass, we should have some percentage of grass tiles or something like that. So maybe it should be like at least 10%. So that'd be at least 10 tiles out of the 100. Let's go to our tests and implement that as a rule. So, rather than map.any, essentially what we want here is we want to fold over the map, do some kind of operation. So, I think what we want to do, implement this, is have map.fold, and then we'll have a function that takes the new tile and the accumulator, and in our case, we want to count the number of grasses. So we'll say if tile equals grass, then later +1, else accumulator. Then we're going to start from 0. Then we're going to expect equals, or expect equal, or no, we want to expect greater than n. So I think this is what our new test should be. This will check that we have at least 10 grass tiles out of the 100 tiles that we should have. So to do that, we're going to have to implement map.fold. We already wrote the recursion for map.any, so I believe we can just extract fold out of any, because generally any is, well, I guess that's not entirely true. Any can short circuit. All right. Looks like the stream may have dropped out. Let me just check and make sure that everything's okay. I'm going to restart the stream just momentarily and reset my internet.